Look at this modern musket here. So you went out and got a really expensive gun. You're ready to do mag dumps after mag dumps, but did you stop to think that perhaps maybe you're decreasing the life and accuracy and velocity of your barrel because you didn't break it in? What is breaking in a barrel and why is it necessary? Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everybody. Clint today with Classic Firearms, here to talk about barrels and breaking them in and whether or not you should do that, because I've seen it before at the range. You go there, you've got some guy taking one shot, completely strips out his gun or just removes the bolt if he's got a bolt gun, and he's running a punch through it, cleaning the barrel, shoots another shot after reassembling, does the same thing, strips it down, runs a patch, runs some oil, runs a bore snake, whatever it might be, multiple times. Is that absolutely necessary? We're here to talk about that today, and let's go ahead and jump into the reasons why somebody might break in their barrel. And one of the big arguments about breaking in your barrel is quite simply, well, you want that long-term accuracy. And in some cases, you're actually perfecting the barrel. You're letting it settle. So what does it mean? You want the long-term accuracy. If you've got an accurate gun, isn't it already going to have long-term accuracy? And what do you mean letting the barrel settle, right? These are all pretty good questions, I think. And so for those of you that may have just bought your stupid expensive bolt gun, or maybe you've just got a basic bolt gun that you just want to make sure is going to be nice and accurate for the next deer season, let's talk about it. So first of all, what I've got on the table right now is the Proof Research Elevation MTR, the Mountain Tactical Rifle, carbon fiber composite stock with the Proof Research carbon fiber wrapped barrel. And because everything else is carbon fiber on it, I decided to throw on the Caldwell carbon fiber bipod, which is kind of a nuisance, but it's lightweight and nice. I mean, this thing is very light. Even so much so I decided to throw on my titanium silencer. 300 Win Mag suppressed. Absolutely. All right, cool. So let's roll into this. Oh, Trijicon AccuPoint. This is only a 2.5 to 12.5 optic. I've got something much more worthy that will be going on this gun. Not saying that this isn't a bad optic, but 300 Win Mag can, let's just say this gun might be a little much for this optic. Okay, cool. So why break in the barrel? Well, a lot of people kind of get an idea that, well, a brand new barrel is going to be sharp. Might have some leftover burrs and imperfections within the actual bore itself. Therefore, you need to run a couple of rounds through it, clean off those burrs, clean off whatever type of imperfections might be, and any type of fouling that might start to build up on those burrs. That way you maintain velocity, if not increase your velocity, which we'll talk about, and also your accuracy. If at any point in time the actual projectile that's making its way down the bore hits a spot that is, let's just say, not the exact same as the rest, that could actually potentially cause a little bit of a, how do you say, it just won't be perfect. Put it this way, it'll put a little bit more pressure at one point and might even cause it to sway one way or the other. We're talking very minute, but if you have a buildup that could cause an imperfection in the actual projectile, and then therefore as it exits the muzzle, it won't be a complete equal pressure being put on the projectile as it exits the muzzle. I hope I made that make sense, but that's ultimately what that would do. Okay, so we can kind of see how that would affect accuracy, but what about velocity? Well, as you break in the barrel and you clean it with each run, what's happening is, and some people subscribe to this thought, some people don't, and I can definitely see where this makes a lot of sense. Where what they're saying is the rifling in the barrel at this point, since it's new, is sharp. It's cut from the actual device, from the machine that rifles the barrel. It is cut, and those edges are going to be sharp. Therefore, that's actually going to be taking more of the projectile and cutting back on the projectile. As that starts to smooth out with each shot, you'll notice, perhaps, an increase in velocity with each shot even, or maybe even different groups. Interesting, right? I think one cool little science experiment we could do is actually invest in a little bit more better chronograph, and one that's maybe a little bit more expensive and a little bit more accurate than the one that we currently have, and actually measure if barrel break-in does increase velocity because of the aforementioned facts that I just talked about. And I put quotation on facts because a lot of this is debatable, but I do believe I actually agree with this. And here's why. Again, a brand new barrel straight from the manufacturer, even high quality ones like Proof that you see right here, have the potential to be burred, have the potential to have those really sharp rifling. It makes sense. You've got machines, metal on metal, that are going to come in there and start to actually groove, give you those lands and grooves that we all know and love that help keep your rifle accurate and those velocities up. Metal on metal will create sharp, jagged edges. As that barrel starts to wear a little bit and those projectiles run through the length of the barrel, it starts to smooth out those riflings or the lands and grooves. Therefore, it should actually be causing you to increase your velocity. We're not talking hundreds of feet per second here, I don't think, but minimally, a couple. Is it that big of a deal? Is it that noticeable? I don't know. That's why I would like to do this science experiment where we test that. It's pretty interesting, I think. So let me know down in the comment section if that's something you would like to see. So is it absolutely necessary to break in your barrel? Again, settling the barrel is going to increase that accuracy and potentially that velocity. Again, ultimately what happens, or at least the thought process that is out there in the internet and the interwebs and whatnot, is if you do have that buildup, if you do have that one burr and you continue to keep shooting rounds and rounds and rounds through it, you could actually start to lose velocity. You could start to lose a little bit of accuracy because you could have a little bit of copper fouling and buildup happening on that one burr as each projectile passes through it, therefore placing unequal pressure at that point in the barrel on the projectile. And you want it to be equal all the way around. Cool. So how exactly do you break in a barrel? Well, there's also a whole list of ideas on that. Some people say, hey, you need to shoot at least 10 rounds. After every single shot, you need to clean the gun, or at least clean the barrel. And how do you do that? Because one thing you don't want to do is go in the opposite direction of which the projectile is traveling. Because you got to think, again, all of this pressure, the actual metal is moving down this direction. Or at least you hope it is. It should be, right? You don't want to be pushing any type of residue and all that type of gunk back into the system that you're trying to keep clean. And that also includes the lands and grooves. So again, the idea is, well, you would actually run some solvent, whether that be a patch, whatever, some solvent down the barrel in the direction in which the projectile travels. Next, you would take your patch and then dry it. Then you put it back together and shoot again. How about Proof Research? Since I've got the Proof Research Elevation MTR on the table, how do they decide or tell you about break-in? And this is something I thought was kind of funny because, again, as you start to do more and more research, if I were to use this as my precision rifle at extreme long ranges, yes, I would break it in. For most of my semi-autos and other guns, I'll be honest with you, I don't shoot them in competition at those types of great distances where I'm really all that concerned about 0.5 versus 0.7 MOA, right? So that's my thought process on it, right? As long as I'm at least minute of man, I'm happy. That's a joke. Okay, cool. So anyway, what is barrel break-in? And here's what is straight from Proof Research's website, all right? Barrel break-in. Barrel break-in is performed in order to smooth out any micro roughness in the bore that may occur after initial projectiles pass through the barrel. The first few rounds fired will typically leave an uneven and possibly excessive distribution of copper in the bore, which is why it sometimes is necessary to use copper solvent. However, it's not necessary to remove every trace of copper. Don't overthink barrel break-in. Smart. All right. Note, never use bullets coated with molybdenum. Compounds moly-coated during a break-in period. Moly-coated ammunition should not be used until at least 100 rounds of standard copper-jacketed bullets have been fired. Proof Research does not recommend the use of moly-coated ammunition in general, just so you guys know. To break in the barrel, perform the following steps. Shoot 3 shots, then clean. See cleaning instructions on page 7, which I'll read here in just a moment. Shoot 3 more shots and clean again. Shoot 5 more shots and clean again. And that right there is their break-in period. That's it. So shoot 3 shots more, 5 shots, call it a day. Okay, so 3 clean, 5 clean, you're broken in. At least that's what I'm seeing here from Proof Research. How to clean it? They actually list here cleaning solvent, copper remover, cleaning rod, bronze wire brush, bore guide, brush cleaner, and all of that. 1, check the chamber to make sure the magazine to ensure the firearm's completely unloaded. Remove the bolt. Always clean the barrel from the chamber to the muzzle, the direction the bullet travel. To remove loose powder residue, run 3 wet patches through the full length of the barrel using a high-quality one-piece coated rod, blah, blah, blah. Run 1 wet patch soaked with solvent through the barrel to remove any dissolved powder residue. And for heavier filing, soak a bronze wire brush with a solvent. Okay, all of this is just basic cleaning and probably boring you guys. So there you have it. Not that big of a deal. Again, if this is going to be a rifle that you do want to actually maintain that accuracy lifespan on, and I'm talking really tight groups at greater distances, most of us out there, most of you watching, are going to be picking up whatever type of rifle you decide to buy, and you're going to go to the range, shoot it, clean it, put it in the safe, and then shoot it and clean it again whenever you decide to shoot it again, which might sometimes be once a year, twice a year, multiple times a year if you're a good gun owner. And that's that. And I'm not saying just because you don't shoot your guns all the time, you're a bad gun owner, okay? There's plenty of guns in my safe that I haven't shot in years. Sell them, keep them. Sell them, keep them. Sell them, get something else. Get maybe this gun. Okay, cool. Anyway, so is a barrel break-in necessary? In my mind, you've already heard it. Yes and no. And it depends on your use and everything else. For me, the precision shooter, yes, I'm going to clean it. I'm going to break it in. I'm going to do all of that. For my everyday shoot or just a gun that I'm going to be toting around, I'm not going to spend the time to do all of that. Screw it. Maybe it'll get cleaned once a year anyway. Oh, man. Sorry, most of my rifles. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And would you break in the precision rifle, I don't know, SCAR 20 perhaps? Like the one that we're currently giving away that you see right here. Which, by the way, yes, it will be cleaned and all that type of stuff. Just letting you know, okay? But anyway, it's going to you at no cost. Just keep that in mind. The SCAR 20 chambered in 7.62 NATO. This is probably my favorite setup of the SCAR 20 that we've given away to date. No, not probably. It is. I really am enjoying everything about it, other than the obvious weight. It's coming in right now at about 12 to 13 pounds. And trekking around in the woods, as you saw in our giveaway video, is kind of a pain with a gun like that. But it's fine. Put a sling on it, call it a day. Cool. AccuTac bipod right up front. This thing is an absolute beast, super durable, and one of my favorite bipods. It's just great all around. You've also got the Tango Down vertical grip right back here, or right back of the bipod. And then sitting on top of it's probably my favorite glass mount combo. This thing is just awesome. Bulky, heavy, sure, but durable, precise, and really clear glass. The Leupold Mark V HD, 3.6 to 18 power, first focal plane TMR reticle, solid. And then the spur mount. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any more of the 35mm spur mounts out there, so I don't know if they've completely discontinued those or not. So you're getting probably a rare scope mount, maybe, unless Spur, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't have any more 35mm mounts. Big sad if you don't, because I have like 2 more optics I need mounts for. But I'll leave it off there, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section all about barrel break-in and whether or not you find it necessary. I'd be actually curious to hear you guys. And also, there's barrel break-in. There's so many different methods and thought processes behind that I'm sure a couple of you have heard different stories, different rumors, different myths, and I'm sure you're going to let me know what those are down in the comment section below. And again, I'll say it one more time. I do believe barrel break-in is necessary for certain rifles and applications, but most of the time, probably not. Guys, as always, we appreciate you and your business. God bless, and we'll see you next time at